At the edge of a small, forgotten village lay Black Hollow Forest, a place where even in daylight the shadows ruled. The villagers whispered that an ancient entity, known only as the Shadow Hermit, had lived there for generations. Some called him a demon, others a cursed sorcerer. All agreed on one thing: anyone who entered the forest at night never returned. But legends tempt the foolish. One cold night, Daniel and his 3 friends, Mark, Adrian, Ethan, decided to test a tale. They were restless young men, drawn more by arrogance than bravery. Armed with flashlights and knives for protection, they slipped away from the village and entered Black Hollow. The moment they crossed beneath the trees, the air grew colder. Their breaths clouded in the night. Though it was summer, the forest groaned with whispers, as if the trees themselves were alive. After some time, they stumbled upon a crooked oak tree. Beneath it was a mound of dirt, shaped like a crude grave. Adrian stepped closer, curiosity in his eyes, but Daniel grabbed his arm. "Don't touch it," Daniel muttered. "This place feels wrong." Before anyone could reply, a low, guttural laugh echoed through the trees. It wasn't human, it was jagged, wet, and mocking. "Who's there?" Mark shouted, his voice breaking. The laughter grew louder until it circled them, as if the forest itself were laughing. Then, out of the darkness, a figure appeared. Tall, thin, its eyes glowed red like burning coals. Its skin hung loose, gray and cracked, and its mouth stretched into an unnatural grin. "Why have you come to my forest?" the voice boomed, though the figure's lips barely moved. Daniel's legs trembled, but he forced himself to speak. "We only wanted to see if the stories were true. Are you the Shadow Hermit?" The thing let out a shrill shriek that split the night. "They call me many names. None live long enough to know the real one." Ethan whispered we should run. But before he could finish, the figure was suddenly behind him, whispering in his ear, "You won't leave." Ethan screamed, stumbling back, his face pale as chalk. The hermit raised a twisted finger and hissed, "I give you a choice. Reach the far end of my forest before the last crow cries, and you live. Fail, and your souls rot here forever." The ground shook beneath their feet. They had no choice but to accept. The boys ran. The forest warped around them. Paths twisted in circles. Shadows moved where no one walked, and unseen hands brushed their necks. From the corner of their eyes, they saw shapes crawling on all fours. But when they turned, nothing was there. Then they reached a lake, its surface black, bubbling, and reeking of rot. They had to cross, but the water hissed like acid when a branch fell into it. Daniel, shaking, cut down a strong limb and laid it across the surface like a bridge. One by one, they crossed, their ears ringing with whispers that begged them to fall in. On the far side, the hermit appeared again. Only now his body writhed as though hundreds of worms moved beneath his skin. "You've done well," he snarled. "But one last test remains. Light the cursed lantern, and I may let you go." He pointed to a rusted lantern on the ground, carved with strange symbols. The boys gathered around, their hands trembling. Daniel knelt, muttered a prayer under his breath, and struck a match. The moment the flame touched the lantern, a violent scream erupted. The hermit shrieked as his body split apart, dissolving into black smoke that twisted upward like a dying storm. "You should never have come," his voice echoed, fading into the trees. Then silence. The forest grew still. The shadows lifted and the air warmed. The boys stumbled back to the village, pale and trembling. They told their story, but no one believed them. To the villagers, Black Hollow was quiet now, the hermit gone. But Daniel knew the truth. At night, in his dreams, he could still hear the laugh. And sometimes, when he looked into the dark, two red eyes stared back. The curse of Black Hollow Forest was not broken. It had only been passed on.